Welcome to an hour of power. I am Keith Anthony Blanchard, spiritual teacher, musician, author of the best-selling book Homecoming: Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, and your host of Center of Light. Let's dive in. Hello everybody, Keith Anthony Blanchard here. Janavas, welcome to Center of Light. It's been a while. Been outputting for years. I love it. It is an aspect of who I am and what I do. For those who have not yet purchased Homecoming: Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, my new bestseller, the link is in this forum. I will post it again, as well as I will be posting consistently throughout the night the links to my guest and his work and his life story, which is fascinating. You can purchase Homecoming: Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. The link I'm going to post. I'm going to post it now. Why not? Also, you can use the very same link to hyperjump to Amazon to leave me a 5-star review, or to just be honest, actually, rather, about this beautiful work of mine. But I've disappeared for a while. I need to take care of me. One way I'm doing that is I bought tons of state-of-the-art recording gear, and I'm diving in strongly, headfirst, into recording. And I'm going to be doing this a while, but I'll be making appearances, but that didn't sound right. I'm going to be showing up this mug on camera every so often, but I need to breathe for a bit. And the way I'm finding the way to do that is to dive into this recording gear, learning all the software, becoming intuitive of how the routing happens, how to make everything sound like music. Lots of ideas, and that's what I'm doing. So welcome to Center of Light, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement. Strap off, all my brother and sister astral knots, as we launch for inner space. Tonight we're going to be talking about some inner space, but definitely some outer space, some dark space, by a beautiful light being, having experiences since he was a young boy. So without any further ado, let's get down to some Center of Light radio beeswax. Let me tell you about my guest tonight. Tonight is, my guest is John Carty, Aliens, Ghosts, and Shadows. Oh my. John's story begins as a little kid constantly having a recurring dream of UFOs. At 15 years old, he had the only ET abduction that he can remember. Remember. That's keyword, that he could remember. After this event, John has experienced missing time, seen ghosts, shadow people, orbs, and many other types of paranormal activity. John has woken up with scoop marks and puncture wounds, which we're going to be showing you some images later. Scoop marks and puncture wounds on his body. He has a scar from the abduction on his back, as well as which to this day still burns from time to time. John has lived in fear for 25 years, and just last year found the courage to share his story with the public and start to investigate his experience. John has an overwhelming amount of evidence that confirms some of these activities. All of this is still going on to this day. In fact, he said this morning, I believe, or yesterday, he woke up with more marks. He'll tell us more about that shortly. John is at the middle of his journey and feels there's much more in store. Welcome to Center of Light Radio, my brother, for sure. I'm good, sir. How do you want to dive into this pile of unexplained phenomena?
I guess we should start from the beginning.
Go for it.
As a young kid, having reoccurring dream of me looking at maybe 10 to 12 UFOs in the sky. I thought this meant nothing until I was 15 and had the actual experience, So it was something I never thought of. But I had this dream so many times, and it was always exactly the same, But like I said, I thought nothing of it. I had no reason to think anything of it. I thought it was just a dream. I was a kid, and pretty much, I think I was about 7 or 8 when I had these dreams. And as far as I know, nothing happened until I was 15, and that's when I had the abduction took place. I assume stuff has happened in between. I can only assume. I have no idea, but as most of these stories go, it's usually a lifelong thing, So.
What was the feeling you had when all this started to land in your lap? Were you present when it was happening, or it was remembering, oh my God, this happened last night, or this happened as a recall, versus
The
having it happen
abduction?
and then waking up and going, "Oh my God, I just woke up with this amazing, ridiculous experience."
No, it happened in real time. Um, my family went on vacation during this time, and they gave me the option to go with them. And I, to this day, I regret not going with them. You know, I stayed home. I had the house to myself. I was 15 years old, so you know, they were away for like a week, and it was like a regular. I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night. You know, I was out playing basketball. Came home. Nothing strange. Took a shower. Went into my room. I hop into bed to watch TV and just relax. You know, I think it was like 11:30 or midnight. You know, it wasn't too late. Um, you know, I had all my lights on, and just out of nowhere, my bed starts like vibrating.
And
And
remind me again, please, how old were you? This was 15, or this was
15,
the 15?
15, 15. Yep.
Your
So
bed starts vibrating. Oh my
yeah, so
gosh.
I get into bed, right? I don't even have a chance to turn my TV on yet. Is how fast it happened. So I was like sitting up with my back against my headboard, and my bed starts vibrating, and then it starts shaking, and then it starts jumping. You know, at one point, my bed was only on one leg at a time and jumping that way for maybe 20 minutes, just always staying on one leg, but just jumping all over the
20
place.
minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry, 20 seconds. I'm sorry.
Oh, either way, it's still what it is. But I'm just
Yeah.
thinking,
I
wow, what
mean,
an amazing paranormal
it
experience.
felt like 20 minutes, you know,
Yeah, right.
but you know, I'm holding on. I'm holding on to the mattress, and I'm just in complete shock. So eventually it stops. Uh, and my first thought was it was a like a ghost or something. I never had a paranormal experience at that point, and I didn't even believe in ghosts, but I just had no idea what else it could be. So, but a couple seconds later, I had this overwhelming feeling go through my body. It was like all my senses just went on high alert immediately, and I just felt overwhelmed with this feeling or energy. Is hard to explain, but like all my senses were high alert, and I just knew to turn my head to the right. I turned my head so fast, and when I look, you know, to the right, I look at my window, and there's two beings looking directly into my window. Um, they were standing on a roof. My bedroom was on the second floor, so they were standing on a roof that covered the first floor patio. Um, look, their faces might have been like 2 inches from the glass, and I might have
Can you
been.
describe it just a little? We don't have to go into much detail. I mean, is
Uh,
it the common? What did it look like to you?
it was a gray, but not like all the drawings you see. Take away all the facial features, all the details. Take all of that away. You just have just a complete blank blank face. No muscle definition, no bone definition. It was perfectly. The head was like, you know, big up top. It was perfectly round, and you know the chin came to a point. But it was like perfectly shaped. There was no definition of any muscle or bone anywhere. Um, it had like a slit for a mouth and like two holes where the nose is, and you know the big black eyes. But the way the eyes were, it looked like they were sitting on the face, like you know, like if you see in your picture around the eye how it has those lines. It didn't even have anything like that at all. There was no features whatsoever. It was so simplistic. Um, and my first thought actually was, you know, what are they doing in the suburbs? You know, until this point, I thought only abductions happened in the middle of nowhere or in the woods or, you know, a highway in the middle of nowhere where there's no people around. So somehow that was the first thing that went through my head. Um,
Let me ask you this, brother. You said a little bit ago that you wish you went with your parents. Do you think they would have found you there? Because you know them, you know you and the experiences you had. Do you think that they would have followed you there and had it there, or somehow they coerced you, manipulated you on some level to choose not to go so that you could be ready and available for them to come visit you?
I believe they knew I was by myself. you know. I But the thing that gets to me is, I don't think this is just a one-time thing. As far as I know, when this happens to people, it's like, almost like a lifelong thing. And so this is the only time I remember. But the way it happens, I feel like I was like they were like showing me, or like they wanted me to know, because my hallway light was on. My bedroom door was shut, and there was two of them standing outside my door, and their shadows of their legs like went under my door into my bedroom. So I seen two pair of legs step forward. Now, if that hallway light was not on, I would have never seen that. My bedroom light was on. Now, if since my bedroom light was on, the light was shining on their faces, and I can see I can see the pores in their skin, how clear I could see it. Now, if my bedroom light was off, it would have been dark, and I wouldn't have got a good look at them. Also, the fact that my bed shook in the beginning, I'm starting to think that was a way to get my attention. My idea of that little situation, that little minute and a half, has been changing throughout the years, and this is the conclusion I'm at right now, is that they wanted me to see them, they wanted me to know. And then I woke up like I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't paralyzed, you know, and
A thought that occurred to me, John, is this: they can't come in until they can come in. So, what would be the purpose of shaking the bed to get your attention? Because shaking the bed made you and puts you in the right harmonic and the right frequency so they can come in. Your thoughts about that? Because we have to be vibration compatible. So they can't come to you per se, but the bed's just a material object. It has no free will of its own. It's just an inanimate object they can just shake and get you into the level of vibratory experience that they can actually now really be in your space. Just an idea I want to throw around and see if you had any thoughts about that.
that is an idea. But I also think, like, if I did sit in my bed and watch TV, I might have never looked out the window. It's not like they came in. You hear sometimes people wake up and they're already in the bedroom. I felt like I was surrounded in a way. I used to look at it as almost like a military tactic, how there was like two to my left and then two to my right. Um, so I'm not sure, but when I looked, there's two of them outside the window, and I have a very strong feeling that one was like a male and one was a female, just because of the size comparison and the shape of the heads. Like the shorter one had like a more slender female looking head, and the taller one was like the head was a little bigger, but they had only been like 4 feet tall. I actually drove by the house where it happened and took pictures and got measurements of the roof to my bedroom window where they looked in. So I have a good idea of how tall they were. And I would say like 4.5 feet. And the shorter one was probably 6 to 8 inches shorter than the taller one. But the taller one, I looked directly in the eyes. I couldn't look away. My heart stopped. My breathing stopped. Everything stopped. And everything around me got like kind of fuzzy, but I was just locked onto the eyes. That was something I can never forget. I swear my heart and my breathing just stopped. Like everything just stopped. It was amazing. And
In
there was
that, in that gaze, in that look that you had with this being, was there any interfacing? Was there any telepathic transference happening? Just blank, just nothing, void.
nothing, just a
Wow.
blank stare. And they never budged this whole time at all. I mean, that I tend to believe that they're are created by the actual beings themselves. They're like kind of robotic and emotionless. Like they were just
So, who do you think are their higher ups? Who do you think are the puppet master to these beings that frequented your room?
maybe other grays, taller grays. Maybe they're making these, androids or whatever you want to call them in their image. You know,
Totally get that.
that's my feeling. Um,
What
Yeah, it was
happened
just
during your life, bro, as far as, not to get personal, but I get asked the same question: what happens when any of us awaken, or any of us go through something that is so beyond the norm, it shakes the family tree, and fruit begin to fall, and some fruit begin to rot, and some people get to leave your life. Does this has this happened to you? That have you shared your story with your loved ones, with those closest to you? Do they accept you? Do they embrace you, or do they say like, that John's kind of? I mean, how does that work for you?
at first I told my friends because these are my close friends, and I got the usual anal probe jokes and whatever. Like they thought it was funny. Like I think they might have like half believed me, but they couldn't even grasp the concept themselves. You know, um, I had a couple exes I told. There's a couple that had experiences or seen stuff, and there's a couple that didn't even believe in anything I said. My family doesn't know at all, which is something I really have to do soon because I don't want them to find out, on YouTube or whatever, like find out. They have to find out from me. But it's a difficult time to do that with everything that's been going on the past year. Parents are a little stressed, and I'm not trying to put extra weight on their shoulders right now. So it's really tough. Like it's a battle for me to even do that. I have to. Because that's going to just release so much pressure off of me. And you never know, they could possibly. I mean, if I had to guess, I think one of them probably had an experience just because I believe it's like a hereditary thing. I have a brother, mother, and father. So which one is it? It's all of us. You know, I'm open. I'm going to open up a big can of worms when that discussion happens, and there's no turning back. There's no going back from that point. Whole
Yeah,
family
if you
dynamic
open
will
up that
change.
can of worms, you might as well just open it up all the way because it's cracked open.
Yeah,
I
and
wish
then
you blessings on that with your family, man, because people come and go, but family's forever.
yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Tell me about what happened. Was it yesterday you mentioned to me in the green room that you woke up with another scar on your foot, marks on your foot,
Oh, on my knee.
on your knee?
So this is now the third mark on my knee, on the same knee. Um, it looked like a bunch of pinholes in the middle of a big bruise.
Do you feel that you're being actually taken off of the planet, or do you feel that they're doing this in the room, or they're bringing your spiritual body or some form of a subtler body up there, and they're doing what they got to do, and they put you back down? How does that feel to you? What might be more true, or all of them, or none of the above, whatever?
I think it's physical. Where they're taking me or where it's happening, I have no idea. Because my first incident when I was 15, when I saw the beings and I saw the shadows of the legs under the door, I just threw my blanket over my head. I was freaked out, and I remember I got in a fetal position, and the one thing I was concerned about is just feeling their hands touch me. Like that was the one thing that was freaking me out. So I'm under the sheet waiting to feel, a hand grab me or something. And then the next thing I know, I'm waking up in my living room on my couch. I remember I was face down, like hanging off, pants were on backwards, and I had a gigantic scab on the bottom of my back that was not there the day before. I didn't know I had that scab till I got in the shower because as soon as I woke up in the morning, I wanted to get a shower immediately. That's like all I cared about. Even though I remembered what happened, I just wanted to get a shower. As soon as the shampoo hit the back where the scab was, that was an intense burning. And to this day, it burns often. And to be honest, like recently, more than usual, like it'll be a hot, intense burn at the lowest part of my back where that scab is. How does a scar burn 26 years after the fact, randomly?
Do you think it possibly could be that this scar continues to burn the closer it's time for them to reappear? Like we might see in some of these movies that something lies dormant, a rock or a celestial rock, and when the mothership gets closer, it starts to come alive and glow. Do you think it could be this kind of thing that's happening when they're about to become back into your frequency, your energy field, that it starts to sound off?
I think so. Let's put it this way: I get nervous when it starts to burn. You know, I don't know what it means or what could come, but I know that that's something that shouldn't be happening. You know, it's a scar. It's old. You
Ever
know,
seen a doctor or just for a regular doctor visit? And he said, "What the hell is this?"
I've been wanting to do that for so long. I really want to do that, but when it's time for me to do it, I just can't take that step to actually go do it. You know, because I'm afraid what they're gonna find. You know, I don't know if I have implants anywhere or like I believe there's a little small piece of my actual tailbone that was removed. The only reason I say that was because you see, it was 15 years, no, 17 years later. I was on the internet trying to look up, abduction stories to try to put the pieces together, and I came across a lady who said that she thinks she was abducted and she got a shower and uh, she found a scab on her back and she has a scar in the lower part of her back, just like me. And I think she went and got X-rays, and they said there's a tiny piece of her tailbone that was missing. And her story was exactly like mine. So I didn't know that scar or that scab had anything to do with the abduction until 17 years later. I didn't piece that together at the
Right.
time. I was just like, why is there a scab there? That's weird. Brushed it off. Putting stuff together with the abduction was something I didn't do till years and years and years later. I would just brush like, oh, if I wake up and there's like scoop marks on my body, oh, whatever, that might have happened at work, and I'll just move on. It wasn't until like, a year, almost a year now, where I started actually putting stuff together. Ooh, yeah, there it is.
John, go ahead and tell everyone or share with everyone what these are and what they are. Yeah.
Okay, so the picture in the middle, those are marks I woke up with last year. Um, the day before, I didn't have that at all, and that night I did absolutely nothing. I think I watched some TV and fell asleep. Now these holes were deep. I could barely walk. That hurt so much it burned. So the picture on the left is where I realized there was a pattern that the holes were in pairs. So I tried to highlight to show it looked like there were pairs of holes. The picture on the right, um, the circle on the right side is the scarring from the puncture holes in the middle picture. Now the circle that says new, those are marks I woke up with, I want to say a week ago. Now the circle that has the scars, now if I look 3 inches to the right of that is where that bruise is with all the other marks I have. So I have 3 different types of marks on one knee. And this, I tend to lean towards the fact that they want me to notice this because all 3 of these marks on my knee are like, you can't miss them. It's not like they're on my back or on my shoulder. Like they're very blatant, you know. And I try to recreate, like I try to take my fingernail and try to imagine myself doing this while I'm sleeping or something. And
Sure.
it's literally impossible. I try to debunk it as much as I can before I share this stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely done in pairs. It's not like there's just a whole bunch of single punctures on your leg from a single needle or whatever instrument they're using. It's like this thing is two. It's a pair of whatever it is they're using that
Hmm.
enter at the same time. Absolutely. Wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow. John, you want to go to the next slide, sir?
sure.
Tell us. Now we're going to, I think this is a little more of the paranormal, not that extraterrestrials and aliens are not paranormal, but this is more of the ghostly stuff.
Mm.
What do we have here, sir?
Okay. So the picture on the top left is an orb I captured in one of my videos. And to me, it looks like there's a face in the middle of it. It
Yeah,
could be
there's definitely a face in there. It looks like a
some pe-
child.
some people could say pareidolia, but to me, that's a face, and it's an orb. You know, the picture on the bottom left is an orb as well from a video, and there's actually 2 of them that size that like flew across my living room. And this was the only time I've captured them that big. Like they're almost the size of basketballs. Like they're pretty big. Um, as far as orbs, I've captured so many different types. It's pretty amazing. and I'm sure some of it's dust here and there,
Yeah,
but
I've seen dust many times, and I thought I was capturing something really, really cool.
yeah.
Come to find out, I'd sit down on the couch, and all of a sudden they would be populated. But I've seen your pictures and your video, and this is not dust. This is not something that's just randomly floating. These things move with a conscious will. They're moving on purpose. There's a deliberate movement there versus something that just seems to be floating. What is this? Is this what you drew some time back when this all occurred? Your best artistic version?
The picture on the right is I drew that, I believe it was last fall. Um, I'm pretty confident that somehow I was involved in some type of remote viewing. This is one of the strangest things that's ever happened to me. Like I, I felt like I was there. Like it wasn't a dream, you know. Um, it was weird. That being was like bent over doing something, and like I swear I wasn't there, but somehow I felt like I was there. It's weird. It's like my eyeballs were there, if that makes any sense to anybody. Um, but it was bending over doing something, and it just stopped, and it froze for like 10 seconds, and slowly stood up and just turned and just looked at me, and it was so real. It was, and then like when I woke up, I had the feeling like I was just like dropped on my couch. Like I feel like I fell and heard a bang, and I woke up.
What do they want? What is your best guess, your best attempt at so far? What you think it is they want with John Carty?
It's $1 million question, man.
Right, right.
I used to think it was just maybe some hybrid experimentation type stuff, but I think this is a little deeper than that. Um, I feel like they just keep throwing stuff in my face, undeniable stuff. It's not like, oh, maybe I think I might have remote viewed, or maybe I think I saw an alien. Nothing's ever like that. It's like or like, I might have a scoop mark. It's like in my face, undeniable, you know,
You,
it's,
you think they're scientists, or you're just a guinea pig? Do you think that it's an evil, malevolent kind of ha 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 kind of thing, or
I don't think it's evil. I think they're just doing their job. I think what they're doing is what they've always done, and it's how it's always been. That's my best thought. This is always how it was. This is the order of, this is how they treat it. Maybe they created us, but the way they treat us, how, they just take us, and, we don't remember nothing. I think it's just how it's always been, and how it's going to be. It's just the way the universe is. This is how it is. Like everyone has a job and whatever. Like they could be a space crew from another planet. They could be scientists from another planet. Like who knows? Or really, I'm leaning towards dimensional beings lately. It's been my thing, because I think if they're traveling from planets, it's just too far. It's too far. I don't care what kind of technology you have, but to jump from one dimension to another, like maybe through a hole or something real quick, makes more sense to me. Why,
sure?
why are you going to travel millions of light years to come mess with me for? You know what I'm saying? It'd have to be more convenient for them.
Many people say the sun is a portal. That many beings just fly right out of the sun and right back into it. John, would you like to move on to the video? It looks like you waking up out of sleep.
Sure. I'm not even sure what video you're talking about, but
The one you sent me.
I think that was the shadow. Oh no, that's wrong. That's not the one. I sent you a wrong one.
That's all right. Can we go through it anyway, or is it something that we're not supposed to see?
Yeah, I wouldn't play that one.
All right, let's get out of that.
Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries.
Because of I had that camera set up on that angle for like weeks. So I have like probably 100 videos of that one angle.
There is some paranormal stuff in that video. I've seen it. About
Yeah,
2 minutes
sure.
into it, there's this thing. It flies in the room, and then it goes to the bottom and exit. And there's quite a few of them actually. And it's actually after you get up off the bed.
Yeah. This only occurs between like 5 and 7:30 a.m. So to me, that just debunks the dust thing completely, because my cameras roll 24/7, So there's not orbs or dust going on 24/7. So if someone thinks my apartment gets dusty like that for only 2 hours a day, at the same time every day, I don't I don't
Well,
think adds up.
dust, at first sight, dust will fascinate you. Oh my God, captured an orb. When you understand what dust looks like next to an orb, they look just like a difference between a man and a woman. It's just completely two different things. Because dust will sit here and flutter and float by, and it'll have a trajectory-ish. But these things move in a straight line. They may go in different directions, but in those different directions, there's a straight line. It's just not lofting about.
They have there's an intelligence to it. They have
Yes,
a
there's
destination.
intelligence. Yes.
I have
Wow.
one that's cool, but I can't find a video. There's two like this, and they go like this, and they just separate and go different ways. I can't find it, but that was so cool to watch. I was like, yeah, dust don't fly around together and separate like that. Go their separate
Right.
ways.
So since you are monitoring this activity 24/7, are you so dedicated to where I need to figure this riddle out that you literally watch this footage as much as you possibly can to capture, not because you're trying to prove something to anyone, but other than yourself that, one, I got it. I know this is real. This is really happening. Two, with the possible hopes that you can capture something that will explain everything, the aha of it all.
Well, originally I set these cameras up to try to capture an abduction. That was the original plan. I'm realizing it doesn't work that way. So I kept looking through footage. I kept looking for like a week, hours and hours and hours, but nothing. And then one night I seen just one orb. It went under my coffee table and shot up in the air. And I was like, what the heck is that? So the next day I record, and there was like 4 orbs, and it kept escalating. Um, I, I, I was afraid to share this stuff because I didn't know if people would accept it or not. At the time, I was doing a few interviews, and it was nice. I was being able to talk to everybody and get all the stuff off my chest. But after the interviews were done, there was a little span where I didn't know what to do. I still wanted to be a part of the community, but I didn't know how to do that. And this footage just like fell in my lap, and I kind of start putting it out to like kind of stay in the loop a little bit, and the evidence kept building and building. And then I started getting shadow people in my videos and just crazy orbs. And
Let's talk a little bit about that. Tell me about these shadow knuckleheads that are floating. And this is in your apartment. Your house is an apartment, yeah?
apartment, yes.
And do you think this is attached to you? This is not attached to a piece of old furniture in the house or none of that. In other words, if you move somewhere else until whatever this is resolved, it's just gonna continue just to appear wherever you go. Is that what you think?
Yeah. Well, in my early 30s, I thought I saw a shadow person, but it looked like a regular person with pants and like a shirt and had hair, but it was jet black over my bed. It had its arms over my bed. It was doing something. I caught it. It turned around. I was scared. It actually like jumped back. It was startled. I seen it. It jumped on the wall and ran down the wall like a shadow. I used to think that was a shadow person, but I'm starting to see why I believe are real shadow people with the very broad shoulders and the heads. So I see him in my apartment with my naked eyes often. I see him at my parents' house like a month ago, which I was not happy about whatsoever. We're watching TV in the living room. And at one time, I saw like 4 of them pop out from different spots in the house, like look at me. Like picture at one time, like 4 different spots, like, they just pop their head out and look, and then pop right back in. I have a feeling they're like watching me. They don't threaten me. I'm not scared of them, but I feel like they're interested in what I'm doing because they just look at me. They're not doing anything evil. They're not hurting me. They just come out and look at me.
They're void of anything. There's no light. There's nothing. It's just a hole. Wow.
I don't get like any like dark feelings from them either. Like it doesn't bother me.
But the Greys do.
That's the only thing.
Let me ask you
bothers
this,
me.
bro. With all due respect, without trivializing your situation,
Sure.
have you foreseen feel that it may have the Whitley Strieber effect. That they're going to hang out with you, mess with you, play with you for a little while until graduation date comes. And next thing you know, you might unfold into this purpose. It was some sort of contractual agreement that, hey guys, come back anytime you like, but you didn't have to be so freaking, scary and all this, all these times that you came visit. So my thought is, if you believe that they're still occurring, and there's nothing you can do about it, maybe you can make this happen in a conscious way. So you can ask those particular questions you want. For example, instead of waiting till you wake up in the morning tomorrow, next week with more scoop marks than you need, ask them to show up when you're conscious, because it's going to happen anyway. And I know it sounds scary, but we all
It's
have
already happened before.
Yes.
Yeah. I was in the shower one day, and my body started vibrating. It was pretty intense. It got to the point where I felt like I was standing on a subwoofer, and I got out of the shower and like almost fell against the wall, and I was just vibrating, and then everything turned black, and far away I see a little face, and it just kept getting closer and closer and closer and closer till it was right here. That's actually the one picture I drew of the alien with the green face, the green skin. That's what I saw in my vision, and it said to me, it was like I'm ready, and I was like I'm not ready, and it was like I'm ready, and this went back and forth for I almost say a minute. It was talking over me. I couldn't even finish saying I'm not ready until it said I'm ready. It was kept talking over me, and eventually the face was here, and then just went back into the darkness. I would open my eyes and close my eyes. It didn't matter. I still seen the same thing, and that really shook me. That shook me a lot. The fact it was talking over me, it wasn't and it spoke in my voice, in my head, but we're talking over each other. He's like, I'm ready, I'm not ready, I'm ready, I'm not ready. And just, it's a back and forth. And eventually it just stopped and just backed away. And that was it. That freaked me out, man. That really freaked me out.
From the chat room, Kristen says, and I support, and I'm sure many other people do, as I've seen it, people make comments. You have your family here, bro. You have people who support you and believe you, and care about your well-being through this ride of your life. Have you sought any sort of, I don't want to say therapy, that's not the right word. People who may be more gifted than anyone in said experience for answers, for example, and I don't mean just a UFO group. I mean maybe a true seer, not someone who works down the street and you pay $25 for a reading. I'm talking about finding a real seer. They don't know anything about you at all. You don't preempt. You don't set up anything. These people do exist. Past life regression, anything like that? Have you pursued any of that?
I had a reading done once with somebody that she didn't know anything about me, and within our first 2 minutes of our conversation, she had me completely sold. She talked about my abduction when I was 15, and I didn't say nothing to her. She's like, I see two different types of beings there. I see beings outside the window that are there to make sure nothing happens to you. And then I see a different type of being standing outside your door. And that never crossed my mind, never in my life. And I was just like, wow. It was a pretty deep conversation. She knew she said I used to have a spirit or a guardian or something like that, when I was a kid. And she described the basement of a house that I forgot I even lived in. Something I didn't tell anybody, because I was a kid. We lived there for 1 year. I totally forgot. And she described the setup of the basement, where the water heater was, the opening of the door. And she's like, yeah, you would sit down there and, you would talk to, a protector. Or I forget how she worded it exactly. But That was the closest thing I've done to something like that.
A couple of comments from the chat room. One is, it's an honest question, so I'm going to pose it. Feel free to respond or not. Is fear, by Jackie, she asked the question, is fear always your baseline emotion? You can choose to answer that or not. But Elaine says maybe they appear in a form most comfortable. It's the correct word. Maybe they appear in a form most comfortable for you to experience this with ease, to expand your awareness because you are ready now. And then you move into the experience of love. Because no matter what, the driving force of the universe, though we don't like what it looks like and how it shows up at any given moment, is truly to awaken us. How do you care to address those, sir?
As far as the fear, I'm probably 100% confident. I got PTSD over this whole situation to begin with. Yeah, fear. The fear don't kick in until like it's time for me to go to sleep. That's when the fear kicks in, and I can't. I've tried so many things not to be scared or tell myself to. I try to accept it. I can't stop it, so I have to accept it at some point. I have no control over the fear, and I'm not afraid of anything. It's not like it's just this one situation where the fear, I have zero control. I don't want to be afraid of it. I want to accept it. I want to embrace it. I want to be a part of it. Will make my life easier. But that fear creeps in and it just consumes my body. I have zero control. Nothing I can do about it. I don't want to be that way at all.
Yeah, I totally understand that. That's fair because, I don't have any fear, but get thrown into a situation and watch where that survival instinct kick in and say,
I lost the audio.
For any of us, we don't walk around living in fear, but a scenario shows up. I'm walking down the street and a big dog shows up and he's ready to bite some Keith's ass. All of a sudden I'm thrown into this emotion where the fight, flight, survive instinct kicks in and says, I'm here to save your ass, this emotion. So you don't walk around with this, but it lets you know that something's coming that's simply not a fun place to be.
It's every night when I go to sleep, every single night for it's been 26 years. Not one night goes by where it doesn't run through my mind that this could be the night it happens again.
John, have you tried some of the spiritual woo-woo out there? Some of the bells and whistles, for example. Selenite, the mineral selenite, very high, one of the probably the most high vibrational stone that is used for raising energies for such things. Though you're not afraid of the supernatural as far as the paranormal stuff, the ghosts and the shadow people and all that. But still, vibration is vibration, and it raises energies beyond certain bandwidths that certain beings play in. There are certain pictures, whether you believe in this or not, it doesn't matter. Because if it is true, if it's not true, you don't lose anything. And if it is true and it's effective, then you got what you want. Certain pictures of holy men, Padre Pio is one. He used to physically fight demons in his quarters when his assistants would put him to bed. They would manifest and he would physically fist fight these things. Wake up with bloody nose, black eyes, and all this kind of stuff. Padre Pio and, some of these deities that help raise the vibration. Have you tried any of this kind of spiritual woo-woo stuff to see if it alleviates and helps rid you of some of these issues that you're having?
I've never heard of any of that stuff. So
I'll send it to you. Just put it in your house. Do what you got to do. Selenite. After the show, remind me, Keith, what is the stone? I'll send you a link. It is cheap, bro. 10, 15 bucks. Put it in your bed. Put it under your pillow. And or certain places where the activities are hot. And some of you out there, if you have any suggestions that that you would offer, if you would use yourself, how's that? Make sure you send it to me and I'll send it directly to John. Whatever those ideas may be, certain stones, certain music, certain pieces of classical music, I'm sure elevate the experience. But I get the feeling, if I may, you kind of want it to stick around. And I don't mean to overwhelm you, to keep kicking your pants. You're curious, aren't you?
Definitely curious.
So would you want it to end so abruptly, or do you want it to fade away as you are understanding it?
I would like to be able to accept it. It's probably the best way I could answer it. I feel fortunate that I experience stuff and know things that maybe, a lot of people don't, or people think that's not real, Um, that's a hard question to answer. If I could get the fear to go away, I think I'd be okay. Like I said, I'm not gonna. I don't think I have. My life's not in danger, you know. But
Just your knees.
dude, the scariest thing is that it can happen at any given second, at any given day, at any given time. That really gets to me, and that's always stuck in the back of my head because I feel like that's how my experience was when I was 15. It was just I'm getting ready to watch TV, and boom, getting abducted. That fast, there's no warning, there's no hey, we'll be there in 20 minutes, nothing like that.
Has
And
this
that
ever happened when you with others, girlfriend laying in the bed and you just didn't tell her about it, or you're hanging out with friends, or trees and rosiers at your house, and you're having pizza and beer, and I mean just any of this kind of
Yeah,
cross-fading kind of stuff?
yeah. I was 25. And I lived maybe 10 minutes from where the abduction happened, so I was pretty close. I was actually probably 5 minutes away. I moved, and just one night, I was like, had this weird feeling like I was being able to see again, like I was regaining my vision, and I was sitting up completely paralyzed with a can of soda upside down in my hand, just pouring all over my body. And the whole bed was soaked. I was soaked. My girlfriend at the time's next to me freaking out, but I can't hear her. All I can do is move my eyes. I see her lips moving, but I hear no sound. As soon as the can empties, I was able to move again, and then I was able to hear her, and she was freaking out how she says she saw people outside the window while this was happening, and this was like maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, I didn't see them, but the way the story sounds, I can only assume what happened. Um, it's a weird situation because I feel like they were like trying to play a prank on me or something. Like, I can't picture myself opening a can of soda upside down as well as being paralyzed. Like, it's just weird. Like I wouldn't sleepwalk and grab a can of soda upside down and open it upside down. It's not like it was right side up and I spun it. I like opened my eyes and it was just upside down, pouring on me, completely paralyzed. Um, and she was uneasy after that. I think that had something to do with the our relationship. Because I remember a couple of months after, out of the blue, she was like, "John, I'm scared," and she kind of left it at that. So I don't know if something happened to her or not, but that situation was crazy, man. Whole bed was soaked, blanket pouring all over me, couldn't move. So she was a part of something. What that something is, I don't know.
I know Wild Trees on YouTube offered to buy some equipment, whatever equipment he's talking about. I want in from the chat room. I'm going to leave these questions to John to go back and review in the Facebook chat room, the thread. That way he can address you directly because we only have a limited amount of time. There's certain juiciness I want to get out of John. John, have you thought one way for sure, some of the ideas I've offered, the selenite and so forth, and these kinds of things that can help elevate the energy. One way, it can be a little scary. It can't be any more scary than it is when you say, when I'm about to go to sleep. It can't be any more scary than that because you know what's coming. Well, how about you look at this or could address this consciously, know what's coming. Go to see a very highly reputable hypnosis. That doesn't sound like fun, I know. But at least you can be conscious of what is happening when you're not conscious. Therefore, this may help you in future experiences how to address them, how to carry yourself when certain things begin to happen. Have you thought about hypnosis therapy? Not that you're broken, but just to find the answers.
I've been thinking about regression. I've been thinking about this since last year, and I've contacted everybody I can possibly think of and asked every person who I think would know anybody. And there's nobody out there that I know. Like, I would love to find somebody.
I know someone
who would take me as a guinea pig, give me the x-rays, do the regression, just take me for a week. I'll be your lab rat, do whatever you want to do, all the tests you want. Like,
that doesn't sound like fun either, bro.
Yeah, but I can bang everything out at one shot, get the answers I'm
Sure.
looking for, and like I know someone who do regression. You gotta pay for it, and it's through MUFON, and they screwed me over twice, so I don't want nothing to do with them.
I have a real guy. He's a phenomenal human being. He's a very spiritual man, and he's very real. He doesn't check around. This is what he does. His name is Richard. I'll leave that off the air for now. And that's at your pace. Not that I'm here to fix you. I just know that we care about you and want to see you in a state of ongoing joy versus having something that just simply just brings you into this space of just not feeling good, whatever that may be.
Yeah. I can have like the best day ever, just be happy. But as soon as ready to turn the lights off and go to sleep, I get on edge. Like I don't sleep in my bedroom. I sleep on my couch. My bedroom's furnished. I can't sleep in the bedroom by myself ever since that happened. I just can't. I won't sleep. I'll freak out. I get like panic attacks. So I'm comfortable sleeping on the couch, even though I know that doesn't change or stop anything from happening. It's just I'm comfortable there because I feel like because my situation happened in my bedroom, it might have messed me up so bad. I don't even like going in my bedroom. I go in there to get changed. I really try to stay out of there. I just get uncomfortable feeling being in the bedroom by myself. Now, if I have a guest over or something like that, or I'm in a relationship, or even if I'm sharing a place with a couple of people, I'm fine, 100%. I can go to sleep. But I live by myself, and I get really on edge. I can't do it. So I just sleep on my couch every day, and I'm just used to it. It is what it is. Sucks.
What's yeah, bro? I hear you. I have my own demons for many years in my life. It doesn't mean I don't have any now. And be it aliens, extraterrestrials, ghosts, or shadow people, when we're confronted with that thing that is alien to us, as to why it always puts us in that space, it's just not a fun place to be. John, what's the next phase of your life? What do you see, intuit, happening for you in the very near future surrounding this 26-year journey?
I foresee the same stuff just continuing to happen and get more intense as it goes. I feel like I'm on this path where I'm getting pushed along. This stuff's happening regardless if I wanted to or not. All these marks on my knees, all the visions I have, the remote viewing, the shadow people, everything combined. It's been an overwhelming year, and it's just been progressing and getting more intense. And I do not see that stopping. Where it takes me, I don't know. I feel like I have a purpose. I feel like what I've been doing recently with the YouTube and sharing my story, and I feel like that's part of my purpose, but I don't know specifically what I'm supposed to do. But I feel like I'm kind of on the right path to head to where I have to go. Just sharing my story for the first time last year.
I bet that was a relief. Like a Coke bottle that's been shaken and you finally take off the cap.
You know what was the honest relief, man? I just wanted to do that one interview and just be done. I just wanted to get it off my chest. But it was the overwhelming support in the chat room. Every single person, yo, we support you, we believe you. It's 150 comments. All of them was positive, and I did not expect that at all. I wasn't planning on doing any more interviews or doing YouTube or nothing. I just want to do that one interview and just put that out there for the public, and that was it. But it kind of snowed. The support's amazing, and all the people I've met since then, everybody I talk to is all good people. Everyone supports each other. That just changed my life more than anything else, is the support from everybody. It's overwhelming how that makes me feel.
You're not in this alone, bro. That's for sure. It may seem that way, but you're not.
Yeah, I know.
Anything you would like to leave us with before you close? Everyone, I'm going to grab John's contact information. My name is Keith Anthony Blanchard, Center of Light. It's been a while since I've been on the air. I've been recording this new album. I got some recording gear, so I'm diving in full force and doing that. I appreciate you being here. John, anything you want to leave us with, sir, while I get your link and let people know how to find you and go put a big stank all over your work, and they can let you know they exist and y'all can dialogue freely.
What I can say is that there's a lot of in ufology. There's a lot of people faking stuff, trying to debunk stuff, making stuff up, muddying the waters for people like me. So, for all the people who've been following me, I appreciate it. And, we're on this ride together, and it's not ended. It's going to continue. And, I know where it's going to end. It's going to end in another physical contact. It's going to happen again. I think that's like my end point. Like, I think I was talking to Michael Roser earlier. I think they're getting impatient with me. I think they wanted me to do this a while ago. I really feel that way. I feel like they're getting impatient. That's why the marks are ramping up, and I feel like they want me to do what I'm doing. If they did not want me to do what I'm doing, or anybody else, I don't think this would be happening, So, I just share my life. You guys are along for a ride with me, and we'll see where it goes.
Keep us posted, my friend. Let us know what's happening. You're always welcome here in Center of Light Radio. Since I am taking a break, if you got something you want to regurgitate and share with the world, be it positive or negative, you let me know. We'll set up a time for you, and we'll get you back on the show. And who knows? Maybe if you came back a second time, you can say something that'll trigger someone else and heal them. And then y'all can meet, and then y'all can share experiences, and y'all having this. So this is what I like to do. I like to be a bridge, and I like to be a support. I like to be a voice for those who are willing to hear people like you, people like Wild Trees, Dark Hour, and all these guests that come through Center of Light. Bro, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for telling your powerful, amazing story.
Yeah, appreciate being here. Real quick before we go, I want to say, the first time that I was on Black Lotus with you, right? I don't think I knew who you were. I think Michael might have interviewed you once before I got on the show. So I came and checked out your channel. I had no idea what you were talking about, but I just felt like strong, like loving, like good energy. I couldn't comprehend what you were saying really during that video, but I felt what you were saying. And that kind of like shook me a little bit, because I never kind of had something like that happen. But, I felt good things from I didn't know what you were saying, but I could feel what you were saying, But so I check out your channel.
Then you heard a lot more than many people. If you felt it, really, you heard a lot more than people were hearing the words. So that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, yeah, I appreciate coming on, man. Awesome.
Yeah, brother, and I have lots of contacts. Again, honestly, I don't see you as broken, but if you want some possible windows to open from other people who would love to work with you, my regression friend, Dr. Richard, I would go to him before. But he can probably do this, I have no doubt. Although he's in Memphis, this can happen remotely over the phone or Skype kind of thing. But I would suggest someone would be with you to monitor you, to cater to you, and address your concerns as may be needed if you chose to delve deep into this rabbit hole. So, John, thank you, bro. You're welcome here anytime.
I appreciate it.
Peace, my bro.
Peace, man. Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir. Everyone, Keith Anthony Blanchard, Center of Light Radio. I'm going to be seeing you soon. I got a couple of more interviews on Center of Light Radio I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. I do have a couple of presentations I want to do with me and you, just as I am now speaking to the audience. No, speaking to my soul tribe, Yanava. Right there. I'm about to go dive deeply into my recording gear. I'll be seeing you beautiful, sexy human creatures. Peace, love, and you are the light. Be that fully